ground with. You know when they come around, if they wanna clown, then we going down. I'm war ready, was born ready, I'm more ready. I'm saying this now, making sure that the morgue ready. Yeah. We got some drop-offs, battle formation, I'm waiting for you to pop off. Right after you make your first move, get your rocks off. Next thing you'll head to the dirt, we are not soft. I took a loss, but nah, I ain't panicking. I be making moves, you staying still like a mannequin. Think you got the force, but shit, I'm feeling like Anakin. Hit the chick with the lightsaber, might save her. Doing moves tight major with light paper. And H-Town on them blades like an ice skater. Yeah, at that one West Passover. Sit down, take a seat till the class over. Far from sober, but I ain't puffing on Doja. Bartender, bring me tequila. Hold the soda, shit. Hold the ice too. Flood it like a typhoon. We can get 6 shooters, 10 paces high noon. We have Player Street, all-star studded like it's all.
Because that's what it means. That's what it means to serve the Lord. That's His will. The Lord's will is about division. The Lord's will is about separation. The Lord's will is about not gratifying yourself. The Lord's will is about not satisfying yourself. That's what the Lord's will is about.
You know who I go to ground with, my niggas. You know when they
I know
come
that might be a foreign
around,
concept.
if they
No
wanna
thanks to
clown, then we
Christianity.
gun them
We
down
don't
for
want to
my
have fathers
niggas.
like we're supposed to in the black home. We don't have fathers, you understand, in the black Hispanic and Native American homes like we were supposed to. No thanks to Christianity and no thanks to America.
You can't feel me. Unless you sip 100 proof. I got 100 soldiers with me, that's 200 boots. We get to stomping like a Kappa or a Q. But don't mistake me for no rapper, I'm the Jew. The streets cold, so I throw on the cover. You a bitch, don't get mad at me, get mad at your mother. Put my life on the line like I got me another. Yeah, shit, it's like I'm on another level here. You second tier, I'm pulling guns, that's on Metal Gear. It's hell out here, but shit, I die heavenly. AK equipped with the drum, it holds 70. Twin revolvers, bucket you ducks like Yosemite. Yeah, I hear a lot of rappers puffing on their enemies. I don't smoke, but I drink their tears like it's
Hallowed is a word that means holy, meaning the Lord's name is separate. The Lord's name is about division. The Lord's name is about separation. Throughout the Bible, it talks about separation and division.
Even wanna hear about rappers. Heavy gut punch, knock the air out rappers. Ain't nobody fucking around with my niggas. You know who I go to ground with, my niggas. You know when they come around, if they wanna clown, then we gun them down for my niggas. Ain't nobody fucking around with my niggas. You know who I go to ground with, my niggas. You know when they come around, if they wanna clown, then we gun them down for my niggas.
It's supposed to be thy will be done. The Lord's will is supposed to be done. Not your will, not grandma's will, not mommy's will, not Uncle Tommy's will, not the Democratic Party's will, not the Republican Party's will, not the Independent Party's will. Instead, what? Thy will be done. Thy will be done. The Lord's will is supposed to be done.
All right, Shalom Israel, with the Israelite School of Universal started at 1 West 125th Street, Harlem, New York, under Commander General Yohana. We're not affiliated with any other Israelite group nor any other Christian organization. All right, so tonight's class, of course, is the brotherhood class. Everybody knows, how important brotherhood is, right? So we're gonna get right into it, because I want to be able to get as many questions answered throughout this class, and also I want to be able to get to my topic, of course, naturally, because there's been a trend, going on with that Cam Newton podcast, right? And with Corey Holcomb. I got a video for y'all to watch too as well. Hopefully it's able to play during the class. So I might play that immediately so everybody kind of knows the gist of everything, but we're going to get it started. So because this is the brotherhood class, can anybody tell me what is synonymous with brotherhood? Okay, Most High in Christ, sisterhood, that's correct. All right, so brotherhood and sisterhood are synonymous with each other. You can't have brotherhood without sisterhood, nor can you have sisterhood without brotherhood. Now, because brotherhood and sisterhood are synonymous with each other, what is brotherhood and what is sisterhood? Give everybody a hand. Most High in Christ, you guys are correct. So what is brotherhood and what is sisterhood? Give Officer Mataza Akara a hand. And everybody else that's about to answer too, give y'all a hand. I already know y'all know their answers, of course. All right, give Sister Rahaya a hand. Y'all keep it going. That's correct. Brotherhood and sisterhood is love. All right. Brotherhood and sisterhood is love. Sister Ahmadah didn't get the memo from last classes that I'll be doing. Everybody else got it, but Sister Ahmadah, no sweat. Sister Ahmadah, you correct, but don't jump the gun. All right, don't jump the gun with the precept. Everybody, keep in mind, don't jump the gun, right? Seem like Sister Shakar didn't get the memo either. No sweat, no sweat. You might be right. All right. But that's the answer to the next question. We want to make we want to make sure everything is done in steps. All right. We want to gradually, get to the point. We want to walk Christians, all right, to what love is, right? We want to walk these Christians, all right, to the definition of love. You just don't want to, get right into it, all right? You want to, you want to slow it down a little bit, all right? Bubba Kwashah, slow it down, all right? But give yourselves a hand. You guys are correct. Love, all right? Brotherhood is love. Sisterhood is love. Now, because brotherhood and sisterhood is love, all right, what is love? Now we need to know what love is. Because remember, the problem is because of Christianity, society has fashioned the definition of love to mean more than one thing, when really there is only one definition of love according to the Most High. Like if you go into the world and you walk amongst regular citizens within society, they're going to tell you that their definition of love and what love means to them. That's a problem. As a people, we need a unanimous definition when it comes to love. Love cannot mean what you think it is. Love cannot mean what you feel it is, because what you feel love may be and what you think love might be may not be the love required to save somebody's life. That may not be the love to protect someone that you say that you love. So honestly, the love that you may think that you have, or the love that you feel like you have, you may want to get rid of it because it may not be enough. A lot of y'all sisters out there, and sometimes brothers too, talking about, well, what is enough? I'm not enough. I'm not enough. I'm not enough. Well, love needs to be enough. You understand? Like you need enough love and the proper love in order to properly love someone. And that love that's in the world, that's not enough to keep Black people safe. That's not enough to keep the Latinos and the Native Americans safe. It's not enough to keep your son safe and your daughter safe. You understand? And your family protected. That love is not enough. I can tell you it's not enough. That's why we continue to get unalived at traffic stops. So that love can't be enough. You understand? Like our daughters are consistently being prostituted. So that love cannot be enough. Our sons are continuing to get high and to be drug dealers and to be unalivers. So that love that you think that you have and that you know so much and that you feel, that's not enough. The love that you need comes from the Lord, which is 1 John 5:3. Give everybody a hand. Most High in Christ, give yourselves a hand. For this is the love of God, that we keep his commandments, and his commandments are not grievous. That's the love that's required to love your son. That's the love that you need to have that's required to love your daughter, is to keep the commandments of God. That's the love that's required. That's the love that's enough, because the love that you have right now is not enough, and it'll never be enough. And I pray that you understand. All right. And let me go ahead and get that. Let me go ahead and try to do this little, technology stuff real quick to share this screen. So just give me a second. I want to be able to share the screen so I can get that Bible verse for y'all up there. All right. Y'all go ahead where it says, "For this is the love of God, that we keep his commandments, and his commandments are not grievous." So, of course, y'all see it on the screen. It seems like it's big enough for y'all to see. "For this is the love of God, that we keep his commandments, and his commandments are not grievous." Y'all go ahead and put into the chat, right? Like, give me some examples of love. Give me some examples of love, which is give me some examples of the law, because this is the love that's the love that's enough. The love that you have right now is not enough. If any of y'all think that you have the love, if any of you guys think that your love is enough right now, well, you're sadly mistaken. All right. You don't have it. All right. You don't have it. Now, of course, if you are a brother and sister in the school, you may have the love that's required to love your son. You may have the love that's required to love your daughter. You may have the love required to love your husband, and you may have the love that's required to love your wife. If you're a brother and a sister in the school. But if you're some Christian out there, all right, participating in class for the first time, I'm gonna let you know right now, you don't have the love that's required to love anyone in your circle. You don't have the love that's required to love anyone that you say that you love. But you're in the right place as of tonight. You are in the right place to learn how to give love that's going to be enough for the ones that you say that you love. Tonight, you will learn something like that. You understand? And them brothers and sisters in that chat, they're going to give you some examples too as well. All right. Sister Rahaya said, don't vote. All right. That's love right there. Knowing that you're not supposed to put another race of people in charge of you. That's love. That's love. That's how you know you love your brother. That's how you know you love your sister. That's how you know you love your father. You love your mother. You love your uncle and your aunties and your cousins and your nieces and your nephews and your daughters and your sons. If you know who isn't supposed to be in charge of you, because obviously whoever is in charge of you, you are listening to them. And you are obeying them, and you are aligning your beliefs with them. You understand? And you're going to move exactly like them. So if you start moving like someone that is evil, if you vote for someone and put someone in charge that is evil, then you're going to start moving wickedly. You're going to start moving evil. You're going to start to think evil things. You're going to start to behave and conduct yourself in an evil manner. And once you start conducting and behaving yourself in such a manner, then you're not going to love anyone that you want to love properly. You're going to end up, because what comes with voting? Unaliving comes with voting. We got to know what comes with a vote. More poverty comes with a vote. You understand? In America, when you vote for Republican, or even if you vote for Democrat, or even if you vote for the Independent Party, unaliving at traffic stops, all right, that's what comes with voting. You understand? Poverty, all right, the lack of resources within the Black, Hispanic, and Native American community, that comes with voting. There's so much dangers to the Black, Hispanic, and Native American community that comes with voting. All right. So voting not voting is another way of love. What is an example of love? Salakia, I misspoke. You understand? Not no idol worship. Don't celebrate birthdays. The dietary law, not to not unalive. You understand? to remember to keep the Sabbath, don't steal, don't commit adultery, don't worship any other gods. Give these brothers and sisters a absolute hand. Like, those are great examples of how to love. All right. Because when it comes, like, so for an example, when it talks about worshiping another God, right? Worshiping these other gods and goddesses, there's a behavior and a conduct that comes with these gods. There's a behavior that comes with these goddesses. And once you start behaving in a way opposite of what the Lord accepts, now we have a problem. The Lord doesn't accept unaliving, but these gods and goddesses do. You understand? What's in the good example of how to what's a good example today of unaliving? Y'all out there, that's a good question. Give me a good example of unaliving in today. All right, give me a good one. All right, because a lot of brothers and sisters are unaliving in a way that they don't think that they are. Y'all give me a great example of unaliving in today's generation. Y'all go ahead, give it to me before we get into this lesson. Like there's a conduct that comes with voting and serving these other gods and goddesses. Looks like we're all one accord, right? It looks like we all know how to love each other back here. For any Christian, if there's any Christian watching right now, I want you to look in that chat, and I want you to see the unity. All right, and I want you to see the unity and that absolute unanimous decision of love that we have, that we are on the same accord. We know that abortion, all right, we know abortion is unaliving. You understand? We know joining Esau's military is unaliving. You understand? We know what it means being some drug dealer or some gangster is another form of unaliving. You understand? We know this. So many brothers and sisters end up behaving in such a way that ends up harming someone else outside of themselves. Like, that's a serious issue, man. Like, you were never supposed to put your life in danger, and for God's sake, to never put someone else's life in danger because of your behavior and because of your conduct. Like, how selfish are you going to be? Are you not considerate of someone else's life, neither your own? Like, that's what Christianity taught us. That's what these other gods and goddesses taught us. We're not moving the right way, how we're supposed to move. And that's what makes Christianity so evil. That's what makes not loving each other so evil. That's what makes not knowing what brotherhood and sisterhood is so goddamn evil, because we are moving in a way that's not acceptable to the Lord. And we end up harming someone outside of ourselves, including ourselves. We gotta refrain from that. You know what I'm saying? Like we got to be able to step away from that and absolutely forsake something like that. The Lord says in the Bible, all right, when it talks about the hidden things, all right, talking about the hidden things of dishonesty, all right, to renounce. Salaki, that's the word I'm looking for. The Bible talks about to renounce the hidden things of dishonesty. And that's one of my favorite scriptures in the Bible, because we need to be able to renounce the hidden things of dishonesty. It's hidden at the moment because you don't realize that going in that Christian church, there's so much dishonesty in there. There's so many things that are hidden that you don't realize that you're following, and you do it blindly as a Christian. Doesn't matter if you're a black man, a black woman, Latino man, Latino woman, Native American man, Native American woman. You end up following our oppressor blindly. That's why the Lord said, renounce the hidden things of dishonesty. Like, there's a conduct. We're supposed to behave ourselves in a way that's acceptable to the Most High. That's what righteousness is. That's what actual righteousness look like. But I'm not going to go ahead and, I'm going to try to get into the topic as soon as possible. You know what I'm saying? So, allow me to, we're going to go ahead and get into the topic as soon as possible. All right. If any other brother or sister has any questions, of course, you can put it into the live chat and I'll be able to answer your question. I'm going to and I'm going to get this video for y'all. Y'all going to let me know if y'all can hear it. All right. Of course, y'all going to be able to see it.
Control them better. A girl who can't afford to say, fuck you, Corey, I'm gone. She just can't afford to do it. So I take advantage of that. Now, that might be wrong, but her poverty and my needs, most of the time, it even out. I don't really need a lot of their time. And they don't tell me to fuck off because they know when I come over, They children can get some.
Hold up. God damn.
Some outlet Jordans.
Outlet Gucci.
Yeah.
Outlet Gucci. But how you speak of women, right? Where you want control. Is there ever...
I don't want control that is taken by force. I want control because I'm the one who is the leader of the pack, naturally.
So could you see yourself in a situation where a woman makes as much as you or more than you?
I like women who make money, just I can't do nothing with you other than sleep with you. If you could take care of yourself, you're going to think you could talk to me. I don't like you talking to me a lot. I know you got your own money and all like that. So if you want to, we can hook up, hang out, do that for a minute. But I'm saying girls in poverty, because they have a deficiency. Poverty is a deficiency out here in America. I can fix your little deficiency if you do what I want you to do. I think it's an even exchange.
Yeah, but do you see how that comes off as...
No. How does it come off? It's this. Look, we're exchanging services.
Okay, but that's not prostitution?
It's all prostitution. What's not prostitution? The only woman who not prostituting, not a woman that is married to their husband. Everything.
Okay, so it seemed like it kind of got choppy towards the end. All right, it seemed like it got choppy. So we need to be able to fix that. We need to be able to fix that because that last part is what I want y'all to hear. So I'm gonna rewind it back to shortly after. All right, because that last part is heavy. What he said. All right, it's very heavy. What I mean by that is there's something. There's a spirit behind what Corey is saying. Now, before I go further, all right, let me take it off so y'all can see me. I'm gonna replay it. But to go further, first I want to state that in the Israelite School of Universal Practical Knowledge, we do not agree with what Corey Holcomb is saying at all. We don't really agree with him at all. All right, but there is a reason why he's saying what he's saying. All right, and there are things that we need to dissect, slowly and surely, to be able to get to the point and to the spirit of why he's saying what he's saying. Like Corey is a product of the Christian church and the product of our oppressive society. And so are those women that he's deciding to sleep with, all right, and whatever the case may be, and taking advantage of in their poverty. But we're gonna talk about that, all right? But let me try it one more time. 1 second. I'm gonna kind of start the video towards the end.
Control them out here in America. We can hook up, hang out, do that for a minute, but I'm saying girls in poverty, because they have a deficiency. Poverty is a deficiency out here in America. I can fix your little deficiency if you do what I want you to do. I think it's an even exchange.
Yeah, but do you see how that comes off as...
No. How does it come off? It's this. Look, we're exchanging services.
Okay, but that's not prostitution?
It's all prostitution. What's not prostitution? The only woman who not prostituting, not a woman that's married to their husband. Everything else, you a hoe.
All right, so everybody, did everybody hear the entire video? Kano La'a, you could put one West if y'all did hear it. Kano La'a, or you could just put Kano La'a. Did everybody hear the entire video? Most High Christ. All right, the water. All right, perfect. So I want to make sure y'all were able to hear the entire video. Now, of course, at the end, with Corey, like throughout the entire video, like Corey has a certain spirit behind the things that he's saying. All right. Of course, some brothers and sisters may agree with what he's saying. All right, but we're not necessarily going to agree with Corey because Corey's not in the truth and he's still Christian. So we're not going to align our beliefs with Corey. But the things that Corey Holcomb is saying, he isn't necessarily wrong. All right. When it towards the end of the video. All right. Towards the very last thing that he said, he's absolutely right. If you're not married, right, then it's all prostitution. It's all being a 304 at the end of the day. And that's what's happening to our brothers and sisters. Now, the reason why he's saying that is because of how America established marriage in society. Like, this is why it was so important to set up marriage the way the Lord said that marriage is supposed to be. So I'm going to go ahead and get a scripture in the Bible. I'm going to get Exodus 22:16. Now, y'all bear with me. All right, now here we go. Now when it says, all right, now when it says, and if a man entice, all right, if a man entice, does anybody know what it means to entice? Is anybody familiar? It says, if a man entice a maid, right? All right, entice meaning to spit game, right? Of course, brothers and sisters normally, right? Well, brothers especially, like they flirt with each other, all right? Or brothers, they flirt with sisters, right? And sisters vice versa. Sisters flirt with brothers. And so that enticement is trying to get a brother, if you're a sister, is to get a brother to like you, or a brother, if you're a brother, to get a woman to like you, meaning to entice, right? Exactly. Give Sister Ra'aya a hand to flirt. Y'all going back and forth. Like, you're trying to persuade a sister to be with you. All right. And if you're a sister, you're trying to persuade this man to be with you. All right. And so when it says to entice a maid, all right, it says to entice a maid. If a man entice a maid that is not betrothed, what does it mean to be not betrothed? It means what? What does it mean to not be betrothed? All right, to not be betrothed, right? Meaning to not be engaged, meaning that there is no man dealing with you whatsoever. I want everybody to keep in mind, if a brother is talking to a sister, she's off limits, regardless if they married or not. All right, we call that in the world backdooring. We call that backdoor. You're not supposed to backdoor your brother. All right, there's other ways to backdoor a brother, but that's just a small example. What I'm within context. All right, I'm using that that term loosely, to backdoor your brother. Like, you're never supposed to swoop in and take a woman that your brother trying to get at. All right, that's unlawful. All right, that's extremely unlawful. Like, that's why we explain, like, the concepts of marriage and the concepts of how we're supposed to behave with each other and conduct ourselves towards each other is absolutely lost in time. All right, and lost without the actual laws of God. When Christianity taught that the laws were done away with, that ruined a lot. That took a compass that truly kept us together as a people. Like, there was supposed to be a time where I didn't have to worry that some man was going to backdoor me and take a woman I'm talking away. You know what I'm saying? Or take a woman away from me that I'm talking to. Salakia. Like there was a time where I didn't have to worry about that. Like, there was a time, all right, that I didn't have to worry about some brother, all right, laying down with my woman. Like, there was a time that I didn't have to worry about that. But now we do. Understand? Like, the Lord's laws, statutes, and commandments, we were supposed to fashion ourselves after that type of lifestyle. Like, our lifestyle was supposed to be the laws of God. Our morality was supposed to be the laws of God. That's why the Bible talks about knowledge and wisdom was going to be the stability of our times. I'll get that scripture for time's sake as well. All right. So moving on, where it says, if a man, All right. If a man entice a maid that is not betrothed, let me add it back to the stage, and lie with her. It says, and lie with her. What does it mean? What does it mean to lie with? All right. What does it mean to lie with her? Correct. Sleep. All right. To have, of course, to have some form of intimacy, right? Sexual relations, right? That's exactly what it is. So when it says, and lie with her, so when the Lord said, and lie with her, all right. So of course, you entice a maid, right? You entice some sister, you spitting game like, hey, you looking good today, all this other type of stuff. You look like a nice woman, da da this, da da that. Seem like I want to, papa this, papa that, whatever y'all brothers be doing, man. All right, whatever. We all know what brothers do to entice a sister. We all know. All right, and sisters fall for it all the time. All right, sisters fall for that enticement. Y'all are stupid. Some of y'all are stupid. Salakia, y'all dumb as hell, falling for the same old tricks, not just once, not just twice, but 10 to 12 times, and then years later try to be like, men are not, shit. You got played not just once or twice, but 10 to 12 times. That's not our fault. We just playing the game that our oppressor taught us. But anyways, all right, not saying that that's right. But when it talks about enticing a maid, all right, and then lie with her, the Lord said, he shall surely endow her to be his wife. It say he shall surely endow her to be his wife. Here's the thing, right? This is the precept to prove that sex is marriage according to the Bible. All right. This is what this means, right? So when Corey was talking about if anyone's not married, it's just prostitution. It's just whoredom. All right. We have to be able to equate that if you are having sex out there and you don't believe that sex is marriage, then you are a 304, or you are a man who deals with 304s, or you are a man who creates more 304s in the world. So if you are a brother who is just willy-nilly out there having all the kinds of sex that you would like to have, all of this illicit sex with all manner of women, then you cannot be upset if some other brother tries to backdoor you and take your woman from you so he can also have sex with her. Like, you as a man, you cannot be angry if your daughter becomes, all right, the neighborhood floozy and being tossed around the neighborhood like a bag of potato chips because everybody loves Doritos. You can't be mad at that. You cannot be upset at that, right? Because you not moving the way the Lord required you to move. You understand? Like, you don't have the love that's necessary. Like, the love that you have is not enough. You think you out here loving women, but you're not. You say you love women, right? Corey is a man who may say that he loves women, but clearly he's not a man that truly loves women. All right. He's a man that truly despises women. All right. Those are those kind of men, all right, who move like how Corey moves, or moves in the manner of not having control of one's body and decides that they want to have sex with whoever they want to have sex with and just toss them away as them. And I'm talking about men. All right. You are truly misogynist. Like, that's what real misogyny looks like. You're the misogynist. Sisters like to throw that term out, right, when it comes to a man that wants to have power over her and actually have control of her and be an authority over her and actually tell her what to do. Like, women call that misogyny. No, misogyny is having sex with you and throwing you away and leaving you to raise 3 or 4 kids on your own. That's misogyny. That's what real misogyny looks like. Like, we have to teach these sisters what it really means to be misogynistic, if that's even a word. Salakia. Like, we need to teach these sisters what misogyny actually looks like, because they don't know. They just throw that term out and be like, the 2 terms that sisters be throwing out in there in the world, and y'all correct me if I'm wrong, narcissism, or not being a narcissist, nor narcissism, whatever. Those are the two. That's one word, or well, two words, but they're the same word. And then misogyny. Those are the main two words I hear throughout on women podcasts or any kind of podcast with a woman on it, or any Instagram video, TikTok video, whatever kind of videos out there. All right, Facebook video. I always hear some sister or some woman in general talking about some man being narcissistic. All right, this, which is someone who believes in narcissism, and this man is a misogynist, someone who believes in misogyny or displaying a behavior that looks like misogyny, right? Right. So toxic is another word, all right, that sisters do throw out there. That is true. Give sister a hand, toxicity, or whatever the case may be. Those are words, but we actually have to be able to teach sisters, like, this is what misogyny actually looks like. The Lord gave us a layout how to stop misogyny, to keep us from being misogynistic towards each other. All right. The Bible says right here, I'll put it right back on the screen, where it says, if a man entice a maid that is not betrothed and lie with her, he shall surely endow her to be his wife. Like, you have a responsibility now once you decide to lay your rod in some sister. All right. Like, that's it. You have no choice but to be a husband to her. That was the moral compass. All right. If you're not moving in a way, if you're not moving in a direction that requires you to have a responsibility to a sister, once you lay down with her and once you sleep with her or have sex with her, then you're moving nefariously. All right. That is an example of collisionist behavior. And that's how you say the word, brother. I studied that word for the past month now, collisionist. I was in the mirror, by the way, Officer Mataza. I was like, collisionist. Because you know me, I know how to mess up a word, and nobody want to correct your Mouth. So I got to be in the mirror practicing. You know what I'm saying? You would have thought I was in the mirror talking about Beetlejuice. Like, it's crazy. So I was practicing that word, man. All right. So, but that is how you pronounce the word. The word is collisionist. All right. So you said it correctly on the mic last night. All right. So give that brother a hand. All right. Meaning moving like you're dark, moving dim. You feel me? Like moving in darkness. All right. That's why I love that scripture to renounce the hidden things of dishonesty. You know what I'm saying? Because, dishonesty is in the dark. And best believe anything that's done in the dark will for sure come to the light. You feel me? But we're gonna continue going. So if you're not moving, if you're not moving in the way that you're supposed to, man, like, like the Lord is absolutely against it. Like, it's important for us. Oh yeah, right. Yeah, Khan, Salakia. Yeah, that's exactly how you say that word. Collisionist. All right. There's another word that I want to use tonight. I gotta go back into my notes. All right, it's a beautiful word too that I like. I believe it's man, I gotta go back into my notes. Doc. I took some notes with some word, man, and I let me go into my notes, see if I can find it real quick. Not to get off topic. It's since we're speaking about vocabulary, all right. Yerusha Mouth, everybody knows how much I like vocabulary. So let's what's this word? Let me go into my notes out, because I be taking notes still. And for all y'all brothers and sisters out there, keep taking y'all notes. All right. I believe it's pernicious. To be pernicious. I think I'm saying that right. Let me double check if I am. I'm about to go to Webster. All right. I believe it's pernicious. Let me see if I'm saying it right. We're about to find out. Because Yerusha Mouth be doing things to words that is unspeakable. You know what I'm saying? So pernicious. Right. I was right. Pernicious. All right. Another word is pernicious. All right. I might still use that word. It depends on, whatever the case may be. But, but for sure, those behaviors, those behaviors that we've learned, all right, from our oppressor are destructive, all right, to our society. And that's what the word pernicious means. It means highly injurious, all right, or highly destructive. All right. So we have highly destructive behaviors. right? And we learned those kind of behaviors from our oppressor, and not having the proper moral compass, all right, and not realizing that once you lay down with someone, that is your wife, or vice versa. Once you lay down with someone, sis, that is your husband. That's highly destructive if you're not moving in that way, because then that ends up spreading the land to whoredom. So when Corey said in the video, anyone who's not married is really just, you're really prostituting yourself. You're really out there being a 304. There was some truth to that. Now, of course, his idea of marriage is our oppressor's idea of marriage. So like it, which means, a piece of paper and a ring. Of course, we all know that's not what marriage actually is. All right. But like I said, there was some truth to what Corey said. All right. But we're going to go ahead and continue, right? Now, another thing that Corey was talking about too as well, he used words like control and authority, right? And so we're going to get in the Bible. We're going to get into the Bible, like the structure of things, right? So I believe we're going to find that we're going to get let me see. It's a lot here. I believe I had these scriptures right here. I want to say it's not in Ephesians. I'm thinking it probably is Ephesians 5, right? Yep, it's in Ephesians chapter 5 when it talks about the mystery. All right, so Ephesians chapter 5, and we're going to start in 5 and 22. So I'm going to go ahead and get that for y'all. By the way, if y'all have any questions, just let me know. All right, but we're going to get into it. I'm going to try to cover everything. But we also do have to keep in mind, like I said, this is also, let's talk about that poverty aspect too as well. All right. So like poverty is a serious thing. All right. So we're going to talk about poverty too. So the entire video was really about that, Corey was saying that he takes advantage of women who are in poverty. Right. And of course, because he understands that, in this society, and here's the thing, right? In society, all right, money is power. Okay. If you got money, you have power. All right. And so with that being said, our oppressor has taught us to behave in a way to exploit that. All right. So we're able to exploit the fact that if you got a lot of money, you have power over someone. And so Corey, being in the spirit of our oppressor, he's going to take advantage of a woman with not as much economic stability, unlike a woman that may have some degrees under her belt and have some economic stability. Now, I don't know if you noticed, Corey did say he would still have relations with a woman. He did say that. Is everybody aware? Corey did say that he would still have relations with a woman if she's not in poverty and she is economically stable. All right. And she got some funds and some, liquidated income under her belt. He did say he would still sleep with her, but he doesn't want to be with a woman like that. All right. That's because in society, women with money do the very same thing that Corey does. And we're going to get into that. All right. When Corey say he takes advantage of a woman who's in poverty, all right, and tries to have power and control, all right, over a woman in poverty. But what you think women with money do to men? It's something that we learned from our oppressor. Women take advantage of the fact that they got money. All right, here's the thing, right? And that's why I want to go to Ephesians 5 and 22. Because of the Christian church and because of our oppressor, we have this fairy tale that a man and a woman is supposed to be equal to each other. They're eye to eye. But the reality is, all right, someone has to be in charge. Someone has to have the power. Someone has to be in control. And that's just the reality. So it's either you as the man being in control, or it's either you as a woman being in power or being in control. One has to have authority. One has to have the power. One has to have the control. There is no equality. Someone is calling the shots. Someone is moving based off something or someone. You feel me? So let's go ahead. So Sister Raya says, Salakia, sir, um, is a man. Let's put it on there. So it says, Salakia, sir, is a man a sinner when committing whoredom, and that would be a time a rib could leave? How would she know he is committing this sin if he is allowed to have multiple ribs and not tell? All right, that's a good question. All right, that is a good question. So, and that's a very heavy question too, as well. When you go into the Bible, all right, and it talks about adultery, right? So here's the thing. In times past, there was no leaving your man because he committed adultery. He was supposed to be put to death. You do understand that, right, sis? So that is a good question, though. That's a real solid question. So I want you to really understand that, sis. At one point in time, if a man decided to commit adultery, what I mean by have sex with another man's wife, him and that woman was supposed to be unalived when that was found out. So there was no, so you would be widowed, sis, after that. That's it. Your husband committed a heinous crime in the nation of Israel, so he was supposed to be put to death. You understand? So there is no law saying that now, even in today's time, if a man decides to have relations with another man's wife, that does not give him the right, all right, or that doesn't give you the right to leave him, because there's no law that says that. All right. For an example, King David, all right, he did the very same thing. All right. And his wives did not leave him. All right. But the Lord did punish King David for the heinous crime he committed against the Lord and the most against the Lord, against the Most High. Does that answer your question, sis? Now, of course, for any brother out there, don't be such a how can I say it? I'm trying to not be so disrespectful, but I want to be disrespectful at the same time because I really want you to feel this message. You don't be some FAGGOT, you know what I'm saying? All right. Some that decides to have sex with another man's woman. All right. That's disgusting. That's GAY. That's LGBT. There we go. Like that's such a that's LGBT behavior. You backdooring a brother and having relations with his woman. That's disgusting. There's so many other women out there that you could possibly that you can have. The Lord said you can have more than one wife. So for you to go and take someone else's wife is crazy. Like what sense does that make? Like what made you what made you what made you want to entice a woman like that? What made you want to have relations with the kind of woman with a woman like that? And also, what kind of woman are you to allow it to happen? What kind of woman are you to let it even get that far? So let's talk about that too as well. All right. But the sister did ask a good question. So Salaki, sir, I was thinking more about a brother that's sleeping with a bunch of women and throwing them away. All right. Well, that would technically still be adultery. Same rules apply. Same rules apply. All right. So allow me to get the let me hold it. Give me 1 second, sis. I'll go ahead and get the precept for you. All right, good question. We're going to I'm gonna come back to Ephesians chapter 5. All right, we got brother Quasha in the chat. Shalom, brother. How you doing? All right. Let me get that precept for you. It's in it's in should be in Ecclesiasticus, but just give me a second. I'm gonna go ahead and get it for you, sis. But good question. That's a good question. Leviticus, I believe Salaki, Ecclesiasticus 23. believe Ecclesiastes 23. We're going to try verse 19. Make sure y'all put this into your notes. All right. There we go. Let me see. We're going to start at verse 16. I think we're going to start at verse 16. And I'm also going to get it on my end too as well. Y'all bear with me, all right? Okay, so it's like it says, I'm just coming back to the comments. So, but how would she know versus assuming he is taking on a rib and not just throwing them away? Okay, so to be honest, right? That's a good question, sis. All right. Allow me to think about your question. All right. Let me see. How can I say it? But how would she know versus assuming is taking on a rib and not just throwing them away? Let me see. Let me see. So Salakia, for any other brother and sister out there, you know, if any of y'all know me, how would y'all think I would answer this kind of question? I just want to know, how would y'all think? Like, what do y'all think I'm gonna say to this question? I want y'all to think about it. Because that's a good question, sis. But how would she know versus assuming, all right, he is taking on a rib and not just throwing them away? That's a very good question. It's a very good question. Now I want y'all to think about how I would answer it. Sister Raya, you don't give a damn. Well, yeah, you right, Khan. That's a good answer, right? You don't give a damn, right? Of course, I don't care, right? That's true. But I want to be able to answer your question. Sister Amada, none of her business. Give Sister Amada a hand. Sister Amada must know your Rosh. You understand? Give Sister Amada a hand. All right, sis. What you got to understand, right? It's truly none of your business. All right. Here's the thing, right? And I want to make sure that we all have a understanding. That's why I wanted the brothers and sisters to be able to answer, because this is brotherhood and sisterhood, right? Now, don't think of this as embarrassing. Like, this is how we build the nation up. All right. We have to be able to correct each other and be on the same level. You understand? And moving the same frequency. You feel me? So don't think that I'm attacking you here. I really want you to actually understand just as much as I want other brothers and sisters to understand. When you ask, but how would she know versus assuming he is taking on a rib and not just throwing them away? All right. Assume nothing. Mind your business. What are you assuming? Right. What you need to do is assume your position as a sister. Right. I don't know if this is talking about you, of course. Right. But I'm talking for any sister that may have these same sentiments and concerns. Assume your position in life. Why are you worried about someone else's? What can you do as a woman for your husband that you have? Assume your position. The problem is you assuming what he's doing and what other women are doing with him, and that's going to cause you great despair. It's going to cause you to go through cause you to go through life with much anxiety and much depression. Don't assume anything but your position when it comes to him. That would be my answer to that sister, or to you, or to anyone who may have these sentiments and concerns. Right? No, sis, no, you too wild. Don't. No, I know. Even if it's not you, I just want you to understand, right? And you're not thinking too deep. You're thinking just like as a sister should. And of course, as a man, and of course, as a priest and officer, I'm gonna give you the answer and the love that's enough for you. My goal here is to give you the love that's enough and that's required. Unlike someone in the world that would never give you this kind of love, and they'll give you some BS answer and cause you to go through a life full of depression and anxiety, assuming something that you have no business assuming. You understand? So for any brother and sister out there, especially for a sister, focus on your husband. Assume your position in her life. All right. Sister Amida said, focus on the husband in front of you is what I was told, and you think the same as well. Let's do is that kind? Exactly. Give Sister Amida a hand. All right. Sister Amida said, for right, exactly. That's sisterhood right there. Focus on the husband in front of you. That's what you need to focus on for any sister out there. Once again, this is not targeted to anybody. This is for all sisters out there who may have had the same sentiments, all right, and things like that. Right. Right. Give Princess Shelly a hand. Right. Stop snooping is what I meant. Right. So yeah, stop snooping. Don't snoop around. You're just gonna go down a dangerous path of depression and anxiety. But I'm gonna go ahead and get that precept. All right. And I'm gonna read it. We're gonna start here in Ecclesiasticus. All right, chapter 23. We're gonna start at verse 16. All right, where it says, two sorts of men multiply sin. There are two sorts of men that multiply sin, and the third will bring wrath. All right, a hot mind is as a burning fire, right? It will never be quenched till it be consumed. This is the second man. A fornicator in the body of his flesh will never cease till he have kindled a fire. All right. So that's what that is. All right. So here we are. It says two sorts of men. Oh, Salaki, that's not the second man. All right. This is the one. This is the first man. All right. Two sorts of men multiply sin, and the third will bring wrath. A hot mind is as a burning fire. It will never be quenched till it be consumed. A fornicator. So this hot mind is a fornicator in the body of his flesh, will never cease till he have kindled a fire. All right. So let me tell you something, brothers. Like the Bible is black. Has anyone ever heard the black saying, "You hot in the ass"? Like that's where this comes from. Salakia for cussing. That's gonna be the last time. But you're hot in the tail. All right. You got a hot behind. You got a hot mind. You're not moving the way you're supposed to. You focus on the wrong things in life. So as a man, like you can't be focused on what's in front of you. And I'm referring to sexual desire. But our oppressor created these environments for our brothers to live in. Our oppressor fashioned a over-sexualized society for men to live in. And so all we see is tail. All we see is sex. Everything is about sex. Everything is about intercourse in this world. And so when a man talks to you, that's the first thing on his mind. That's why you got to understand. So as a sister, let me put y'all sisters on game. All right. You need to not be hot in the mind either. When a man is trying to entice you, if you are a single sister, you want to be privy of this. You understand? All right. I think I'm using that, not privy. That ain't the right word. You just want to be aware of this right here. All right. Privy might be the right word, but I don't think so. I would have to double check that definition. But you want to be aware of this, right? As a sister, when you look at a man, right? Like you want to see, how is he spitting game? If he's just spitting game in a way of just your looks and talk about how beautiful you are, how cute you are, and all this other type of stuff, and like, oh, I like that you got a nice shape and all this other type of stuff, that might not be the kind of brother you should decide to court. You know what I'm saying? That might not be the kind of brother you want to decide to deal with, or even have sex with for the rest of your life, because all he wants to do is have sex with you. If a brother is only focused on how good you look and what kind of tail you got and what kind of shape you got, that might not be the man for you. All right. Like there's more to a woman than just her tail and the box that she got between her legs and the two front butts that she has. All right. Or the kind of breast and how big her breast is or how small. Like it's more to life than that, brother. You know what I'm saying? And sis, you got to see yourself more than that. I understand our oppressor has truly done some damaging things to our sisters that you think that you're nothing more than just made for sex. I understand our oppressor has destroyed our sisters so much that you've been made to believe that there's nothing good from you but what God gave you, which is your tail and that box between your legs and the breast that you got. You think that that's all you have to offer, but you're more than that. That's not the only thing that's not the only thing you got to offer. All right. And if that is the only thing you got to offer, you might want to change your life, sis. And brother, if that's the only thing you want a sister to offer you, then you are a problem in society. You are the problem. That's why the Lord said right here, I'm going to bring it back on the screen towards the end, a fornicator in the body of his flesh will never cease till he hath kindled a fire. A kindled a fire is what? That fire is talking about anger. You're going to fornicate to the point where you kindle a fire. You're going to cause problems in your community. You're going to cause problems in your society. You're going to cause problems in the world. You're going to cause problems in your home. You're going to cause problems in your city, in your neighborhoods, in the towns that you live in. So like it, if you are a fornicator in the body of their in his flesh, will never cease till we have kindled a fire. That's what that's what you are. All right. And you got to move away from that, brother. You know what I'm saying? That fire can be talking about anything. That fire is failed marriages. You understand? That fire is broken homes. That fire is that baby daddy and baby mama epidemic. You understand? That fire is all these STIs and STDs being spread. You understand? Like that's the fire that the Lord that the Lord is talking about here. All right. So sis, this also aligns with your question, I'm sure. It says, the water, I asked the tough questions comfortably because this is a safe space. Exactly. Give Sister Raya a hand and keep asking those type of questions because it's truly beneficial for others, brothers and sisters, you know. So definitely keep that in mind. All right. But let's we're gonna get to it. Here we go. We're gonna continue. We're gonna continue. We're gonna go to verse 17. All right. So now it says, Ecclesiasticus chapter 23, verse 17. All bread is sweet to a whoremonger. He will not leave off till he die. All right. And so it says, all bread is sweet to a whoremonger. All right. So bread, think about bread as like money and or just resources in general. Right. So all bread, right? All bread is sweet to a whoremonger. So now a whoremonger is someone who pimps out sisters. All right. Who pimps out a woman, and a whoremonger is also a man who just deals and dilly dallies with, you know, prostitutes, all right, and 304s. Like that's what a whoremonger is. And so all bread is sweet to a whoremonger. He will not leave off till he die. Like this is his life. And it's like that's a lifestyle that's truly hard to break. You understand? Like being some pimp or being some whoremonger or being some brother or some man who deals with 304s on the daily. Like that's an addiction. You understand? The wealth that comes with pimping out hoes and all of the gratification and satisfaction that comes with dealing with hoes, like that becomes an addiction. You know what I'm saying? That just ruins the mind. It shears your consciousness. You understand? There's a scripture in the Bible that talks about your consciousness being sheared. The Lord talks about that, your consciousness being sheared because of the ways of our oppressor. That's in the Bible. Yagadar, if you're in there, Officer Mataza, where's that? I think it's in Colossians, Akim. Y'all go ahead. First Peter, it's somewhere in the goddamn Bible. Yerashamath don't know the Bible that well. So like Yerashamath is not a biblical scholar. Get Yagadar, Officer Mataza. They're the biblical scholars. Talk to Captain Natazak Nashai. He's the biblical scholar. Yerashamath just been, you know, scraping by. So like I just be listening to other brothers and stealing what they got. You understand? I am not a biblical scholar, but there's something in the Bible that talks about your consciousness or your mind being shared because of our oppressor's belief. And y'all, if y'all biblical scholars could put that scripture in the chat for me, that'd be great. But I'm gonna continue moving on. All right. But yeah, the Bible talks about that. Ecclesiasticus chapter 23, verse 18. All right. I see in the chat, Alazar, 1 Timothy 4:2. There we go. Right. The water of the Agadar, speaking lies and hypocrisy, having their conscience seared with a hot iron. That's in the Bible. You understand? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like speaking lies in hypocrisy. Like that's Christianity. Like that's the customs and the belief of our oppressor, and it sears our consciousness. Like this is a learned behavior from our oppressor, dealing with hoes and being a whoremonger and dealing with 304s, all right, and being hot in the mind, right, with a burning fire, which consumes us. You understand? It's like it's something that can never be quenched. You understand? That's why it says all bread is sweet. All right, all bread is sweet to a man. You know what I'm saying? It says all bread is sweet to a whoremonger, someone who deals with hoes, because it's like this fire will never be it says never be quenched till it be consumed, meaning a fire can only put itself out. That's what the Lord said. Like this type of hot mind can only be quenched until it burns itself out. Only a fire can only destroy itself. And that's a tactic. I don't know if y'all familiar with forest fires, but in order to stop a forest fire, sometimes it's best to let the fire just burn itself out, or to start another fire so that fire collides with it and it just burns itself out, and it creates some effect. You can just look it up in science. I'm not here to teach a science class, and at least not all the time. Y'all just go look that up. But that's what the Lord is saying. Like it could only destroy itself. All right. So we're gonna move on. I'm gonna get to your question, sis. Just 1 second. Let me just get to the okay, I got verse 18 up there. We're gonna go to verse 18. All right. So sister said, question: is there a time frame in which a brother is allowed to have a new wife within a certain time frame in between wives, last wife, or is he able to get as many as desired? So first thing, that's a good question, sis. Okay, so for any brother that may even have this question too, and the sister asked a good question, is there like a time frame when a brother gets a new wife? There is no real good time frame, all right, to get another wife or to get a wife at all. All right. If you are a brother and you want another woman or you want another wife or whatever the case may be, all right, come talk to me, and my answer will be no. All right, so maybe you shouldn't come talk to me, but I encourage you to talk to me because I'm gonna tell you no, you don't need a wife. You don't need another wife. All right, I'm gonna tell you you're not ready. All right, why do you want another wife? What's the reason behind it? Why do you want one? Just curious. Just asking, brother. I'll ask the brother. Why do you want another wife? For what? Why? Like a wise man will know having more than one wife is stressful as hell. Who wants that? That's a lot here. Who wants that? We believe in listen, back here in the UPK, a man can have as many wives as the Lord gives him, not because he desires it, not because he wants it. It's because the Lord put that woman in his hands. So that's a good question, sis. Don't think that if your husband wants another wife, then tell him to come talk to me because I'm gonna tell him no. Forget about it. All right, forget about it. You don't need one. All right. But the Lord, if the Lord deems you fit to be a husband over more than one wife, he will give you another wife. In the Lord, and listen, and you come talk to me, brother, if you think the Lord delivered you a rib. And I would tell you that he didn't deliver you a goddamn thing, and she's just a disgusting slut that you want to have sex with. That's what I'm gonna tell you. That's it. That's what I'm gonna tell you, Ak. I'm gonna tell you. She's not a wife that he didn't deliver you nothing, Ak. Did you see her, Ak? You did. Listen, I want some of y'all brothers who are truly interested in a sister, send me a picture of her, and I'll let you know she's a disgusting whore that you want to have sex with. That's it. That's it. All right. That's all she is, Ak. All right. So no. So Salaki, that's what I'm gonna say. That's my answer. All right. Listen, don't get me started. I'm trying to teach a class and get the proper thing here. Salaki, but for some of y'all brothers out there, you guys are terrible at choosing a woman. You're terrible at choosing a wife. All right. Some of the sisters that you're talking to are not even in the goddamn school, and you think she's fit to be a wife. Are you fit to be a goddamn husband, brother? That's my question to you. You know what I'm saying? Like, God forbid, I'm gonna just say no, because then I'm in a council because of some domestic dispute because you decided to have relations with this woman and make her your rib, and y'all can't get along for worth a damn. And so now I'm in a bunch of councils because what you failed to do is listen to my words right here and right now and talk to me before you get another wife. You decided like a goddamn child on your own to get another woman, as if you know any better. You don't get me started. Salakia. The sis asked the right question at the wrong time. Most High in Christ. Give the sister a hand. That's a good question, sis. That's a very good question. No. All right. There is no real time between a man getting another woman. It would be just wise, all right, to get counsel before you decide to be with a woman. That's highly suggested. All right, that's highly suggested. All right. Hopefully that answers y'all. Hopefully that answers your question. All right. Moving on. Ecclesiasticus 23 and 18. All right. Ecclesiasticus chapter 23, verse 18. And it says, a man that breaketh wedlock, saying thus in his heart. So what does it mean to break? So what does it mean to break wedlock? Does anybody know what that means? So what does it mean a yonder bar says. Does anybody know what it means? I'm gonna put it. It's like I never put it on the screen. So it says a man that breaketh wedlock, saying thus in his heart. All right, meaning saying this in his heart. A man that breaketh wedlock. Does anybody know what wedlock is? Is anybody familiar with wedlock? This goes on to this is still part of this Sister Aya's question, so you guys can also have like a precept to what I'm saying. Like I want you guys to like, even though the words that I'm saying may be very harsh, all right, but they're in the Bible, and they're in the Bible, and they're in the Bible for a reason. So I know sometimes All Shirashimaf might be a little harsh and a little strong on things, but I have to be, because I want brothers and sisters to really maintain a lifestyle that's going to be beneficial for them, because this is what love actually looks like. All right. So so Bubba Kwashad, just bear with me. Let me see. That's correct. I see Sister Deborah, she said, wow. I don't know what she said wow for. I don't know. I hope that I didn't say nothing crazy. I must have said something crazy. But she said, wow. Not so much divorce. All right, not so much divorce, but I mean, I can accept that as an answer. Divorce, leave a wife, break marriage, right? To leave your wife, I'll accept all those answers. Y'all give yourselves a hand. So to break wedlock, right, is to leave your significant other who you became one flesh with. All right. The Bible talks about when a man and a woman comes together, they become one flesh. So if you decide to leave the individual who you became one flesh with, the one that you became a family with, that one flesh means one family. So if you leave the one who you became a family with, then you broke wedlock, man or woman. That's why I said there's brotherhood and sisterhood in every scripture that we read. You just have to find it. You just have to look there. All right. It's a spiritual thing. All right, let's go ahead. So when it says a man that breaketh wedlock, saying thus in his heart, who seeth me? All right. So now here's the second man, who seeth me? So he's saying while he's breaking wedlock, right? While he's breaking wedlock, he's saying, now, but what does breaking wedlock mean? That breaking wedlock means he's that man that's also hot in the mind in a way, right? Like he's equivalent to that man. All right, who let me see who that's who's hot in the mind. All right, where he's just consumed by his fornication. You know what I'm saying? He kindled a fire, right? And so he's saying to himself, right, who seeth me? Right? Let me go ahead. Let me continue reading. I am compassed about with darkness. The walls cover me, and nobody seeth me. So now this type of man, he thinks, all right, what he's doing in the dark, right? No one sees it. You know what I'm saying? That's why, like I said, the Bible is black. The saying goes, whatever done in the dark will come to the light. Don't think that it won't. It's going to come to the light. So it's best that you change your life now. For any brother and sister out there, change your life. Stop doing things behind closed doors, thinking that you're never going to get caught or that it's never going to be exposed. You may want to change your life. Don't create that digital footprint, all right, that you don't want anyone to find out about. You may want to change your life and make yourself a better person starting today, starting tonight. Do it. It's not just going to benefit you, it's going to benefit everyone else around you in your circle. If you love, if you have the love that's required to do it, you'll do it. You understand? Let's continue. So now he's saying, now going on, what need I to fear? So now he's saying to himself, what do I have to worry about? What do I have to fear? All right. The Most High will not remember. He said, the Most High will not remember my sins. Now he's saying to himself, because he's such a disgusting, wicked fornicator. All right. And a fornicator is someone who is having any kinds of manner of unlawful sex, right? Or unlawful intercourse, sexual intercourse, right? He's saying the Most High is not going to remember it. Well, we about to find out if that's true. We're going to move on to the next scripture too. We're going to get verse 19. Now, verse 19 says, Now, verse 19, let me see, it's on the screen, Most High Christ. Such a man only feareth the eyes of men, and knoweth not that the eyes of the Lord are 10,000 times brighter than the sun. So understand that the Lord's eyes are 10 times brighter than the sun. All right. And I want y'all to put that on a t-shirt. You know what I'm saying? Like I want y'all to embed that into your minds. All right. I want y'all to iron that into your minds. So your minds aren't seared, all right, by hypocrisy, by the lies in hypocrisy. You understand? Put this into your minds. The Lord's eyes are brighter than the sun, or 10,000 times brighter than the sun. You understand? Like the Lord sees you. That kind of brother, he only fears a man. He's only worried about what other people think of him. You never want to be, if you were a sister, don't ever be with a brother like that. Don't be with a brother who only fears what men think of him. If you're with a brother who only fears what men think of them, then you're with the wrong man. You want a man who fears what the Lord thinks of him and how the Lord is going to judge him. That's a man who's going to move righteously. So to answer your question, sis, right, your initial question about what if you don't see it? Well, the Lord sees it, sis. So for Sister Raya, when you ask that question, the Lord sees it. That's why I pulled this precept. The Lord sees it. Now, Salaki says, I'm no biblical scholar. So, I had to think real hard about this precept. I had to think real hard. You took me way back. I had to think real hard, like, damn, that's just to ask a good question. Where did I hear this before? You know what I'm saying? I had to take notes. All right. For any brother and sister out there, take notes. All right. The Lord sees it because the Lord says that his eyes are 10 times brighter than the sun. So the Lord sees it. So it doesn't matter if you see it, the Lord sees it. But guess what? Before we even get to that point, be the sister who marries a man that knows the Lord sees what he does, even though you are the wife of him that will never see the filthy, disgusting things he would do. Don't marry a man like that. Marry a man with integrity. Marry a man who's going to move right in the light and in the dark. Get with a man who's going to move righteously, all right, when no one is looking. Because because that kind of man doesn't just fear what men think. He fears what God thinks. And what I'm saying, what God sees, not what men see. That's the kind of husband you want, all right, as a sister. So any single sisters in class tonight, that's the kind of man you need to go after. All right. Let's continue reading. I think that might be the precept, but we're going to continue reading. All right, I'm going to just finish it off for y'all. Where it says, beholding, all right, beholding all the ways of men and considering the most secret parts, right? Because beholding all the ways of men and considering the most secret parts. So there's going to be something, obviously, you don't see, but just understand the Lord sees it, all right? This is the most secret parts. All right. I think we, let me see. I think we can drop that. Let me see. Actually, let me go ahead and it said he knew all things ever they were created. So also after they were perfected, he looked upon them all. Let me see. I might want to pull that too. That's the next verse. Salaki, I'm thinking about going to the next verse. All right. All right. And so now here we go, continuing what the Lord said. All right. Let me go to verse 20. Is it on the screen? Good. So where it says he knew all things all right. He said he knew all things ever they were created. So the Lord knows, like, the Lord knows every, there's ever out there. You know what I'm saying? There's evers out there that he knew all things ever they were created. So he knows all that that's what that's saying. He knows all that were created that He knows that who pretty much errors, who makes an error, who sins against the Lord, right? He knows that. He knows it. So also after they were perfected, he looked upon them all. So also after they were perfected, he looked upon them all, also the ones who are perfect. So he knows the ones who sin, and he also knows who are perfect. He knows this. All right. That's what it's saying. That's what it's saying. All right. Let's go to verse 21. Let me see. Con. And I'm gonna stop right here. All right. Then it says right here, this man, because this is the cherry on top. Verse 21. This man shall be punished in the streets of the city, and where he suspecteth not, he shall be taken. So now, what the Trooper Yabakar say? He said, I say I'm a biblical Salakia. Listen, brother. The water though. But listen, I'm gonna just be real with y'all. I'm just scraping by. You feel me? I just gotta scrape by. You know what I'm saying? I'm doing my best to study and all, I'm doing my best. All right. I'm doing my best. But the water, brother. So Ecclesiasticus 23 and 21, where it says, this man shall be punished in the streets of the city, and where he suspecteth not, he shall be taken. So here's the thing. That kind of man who does something like that, the Lord is going to punish him. Don't think that he's not going to be found out. You understand? So I want you to understand, sis, all right, for Sister Raya, who asked the question, for all the sisters out there, all right, who are listening, that kind of brother, if you're dealing with a brother like that, don't sweat it. You do your part and protect yourself as a sister. All right. If you think you're with a disgusting man, all right, and you're such a righteous sister, apparently you must be some righteous sister, all right, and you must be so goddamn perfect, all right, and you're with this disgusting man, and somehow you're not disgusting. Well, do this. Protect yourself then, sis, in all manner of ways. All right. Just protect yourself. All right. The science has advanced where you can protect yourself from things that what that kind of man would do. If you think you're dealing with a man who dilly and dallies with all these 304s and hoes and things like that, no sweat. Don't even sweat that. Don't sweat it. Protect yourself. Wear some protection the next time with the brother. No sweat. That ain't so hard to do, right? No sweat. Protect yourself. All right. Now, with that being said, but just understand that brother will be punished. There is judgment coming for that kind of brother. That's not something you can just get away with. You understand? And so when the brother least suspects it, that's when the Lord is going to take him out. And is it going to be a terrible day for him? It's going to be terrible. It's going to be horrifying. He's going to wish he never lived a life like that. I pray that y'all understand. But let's get back to Ephesians chapter 5. Let me see. Oh, I'm still in the Salakia. I was in the wrong Bible. I went to King James. Doesn't want to work for me. Let's see. Y'all just bear with me real quick. All right. All right. Well, Salakia, for some reason the Bible don't want to pull up. Well, that's no good. I mean, of course, I can always just read it to y'all, but I would love for y'all to have a visual. Let me see if I can try to fix it. I don't want to. There we go. All right, I think I got it to work. All right. Of course, if y'all got any questions, still put in the live chat and I'll be able to answer y'all questions. But we're going to get Ephesians chapter 5 and verse 22. So we're going to get back on topic. Well, really, we never really left topic for real. All right, so now here we go. When Corey Holcomb, when he was saying what he was saying, right? He was talking about how he wants control and authority. Now, I want every brother and sister to know this, especially y'all sisters. Men desire control and authority. All right. That's how men operate. A man needs to be able to feel like you depend on him. Like there's a certain level of dependency that's required for a man to have. You understand? Like he needs to feel that you are dependent on him some way, form, or fashion. And the Lord made it that way. But our oppressor created an environment for our sisters that they did not have to depend on black men, but they do have to depend on white men. That's what our oppressor created. And that's what our women believe, that they're so independent and they're so, financially stable. And they're such the independent woman that comes from that women's empowerment movement, or that, whatever that movement is, what I'm saying? The women's rights movement and the women's empowerment movement. They believe they're so independent. So like, but in reality, their independent is actually dependency on white men's society, or it's like on the white man's society. They depend on how our oppressor society is fashioned in order to be so independent. All right. So really, what our oppressor did was take us out of the picture, take us out of authority, and took us out of control, and then put themselves back in power and put themselves in control of you once more. At one point in time, our oppressor did have control over our women. And that was during the times of slavery, all right? Chattel slavery instead of systematic slavery that we're in right now. But after slavery, once we entered systematic slavery, they've created systemic processes, all right, and passed legislation, all right, in a gradual process in order to get black women back under their control and authority. That's what our oppressor did, and he did it gradually, all right. And the cherry on top was the women's rights movement / women's empowerment movement. All right. We had another question. So like I just got back to the scripture, sis. Nah, no sweat. All right. So Dabara said, the barber said, Salakia Adawan. What about women that have to be a boss in the world, but want a man that will lead, but the man doesn't want that woman because she is a leader at work? Okay, so all right. Okay. So that's okay. So if I'm getting this correct, you're asking, so what about a woman that has to be a boss in the world, but wants a man that will lead, but the man doesn't want that woman because she is a leader at work? Okay, so maybe it's because, okay, so here's my question. Are you just a lead? Are you just a boss? Are you a boss or a leader at work? So if you're a boss, if this sister, I'm not saying you, sister, so let me ask you this question. Are you just a boss at work? Or is it that this woman is a boss at home as well? That would be more so the answer to your question. Not to answer your question with a question, but you may have to ask this sister, all right, or any sister out there too that might think that this might be a problem for herself as well. You want to be like, hey, even though I'm a boss and a leader at work, I cannot be a boss at home. You know what I'm saying? Sister Raya is funny, said mic drop. You know what I'm saying? Like You could be a boss at work all you want. You can be the best leader you can be as a woman, as a school teacher, as a police officer, fire chief, accountant, whatever, an astrophysicist, electrical engineer, whatever the case may be. You can be the boss and the best leader you can be, but what you cannot be is a boss and a leader at home. That's not your position. So Salaki, just at work, at home, she wants to submit to a man, right? So now, of course, you have to submit to a man, all right? Just to submit. Give all your authority and power to him, just as much as you want. So if you are a boss, maybe think about it this way. You might just have some understanding, because this woman might just have some understanding if she's such the boss and such a leader at her job or at her slavery or her occupation, right? When you think about it, as a boss or as a leader at an occupation, don't you want your subordinates to listen to everything you tell them to do? Don't you want them to follow every order you give them so the company thrives in a way that's successful and beneficial to everyone, so everyone can get raises at the end of the year, so everyone can get bonuses at the end of the year, and all new hires can get 3,000, 4,000, sign-in bonuses when they first come to the job? Wouldn't you want, as a leader and as a boss, would you want something like that? Answer, if you can, sis, answer the question. For any sister out there as well, you can answer that question. Wouldn't you want something like that if you are a boss and you are a leader at some company? Like, here's the thing, right? If you are some leader and some boss at the company, right, you want your subordinates or you want your followers to listen to everything that you tell them, because you know how to keep this machine going. You understand? Like, this is a well-oiled machine that needs to run. And you know what it takes for this machine to run. They don't, but you do. So you have to tell them, as a boss and as a leader at your occupation, this is what needs to happen. Because if you don't tell them what needs to be done, and if they don't do what you tell them, then this well-oiled machine no longer becomes a well-oiled machine. And now this machine becomes a dysfunctional machine that nobody wants. That nobody wants to be a part of. Now there's no more bonuses at the end of the year. Now new hires can't get sign-on bonuses. Now there aren't them. Now those raises aren't coming in like they were supposed to, right? Because nobody wants to listen to the boss and the leader at work. Say, yes, I'm saying many women want to be able to submit, but many men don't know how to handle that, so they shy away from a boss woman. Well, that depends on how you act. So as a boss woman, you answered your question, sis. You're a boss woman. You didn't say that at first. Remember, sis. That sister is a boss woman, right? Now, I'm not saying you are a boss woman, but that sister that you were explaining in this hypothetical question, she's a boss woman. She's not a boss. You know what I'm saying? Like, I want you to understand something. A boss woman is a boss woman, but a boss is a boss. You can be a boss. A boss doesn't have a gender to it. I hope every brother and sister, let every brother and sister understand this. A bosses in the act doesn't have a gender or a sex to it. You can be a male or a woman. Do you understand that? So for you to say in this example, she's a boss woman, well, that's the problem. Nobody wants a boss woman, right? So, but at home she doesn't want to be, but men never give her a chance to submit. Well, it sounds like she's a boss woman. But at home she doesn't want to be, right? At home she doesn't want to be a boss woman, but it seems like she can't stop being a boss woman. And men never give her a chance to submit, right? She needs to just submit. It's not that men don't give her a chance to submit. It sounds like to me she can't submit. She doesn't know how to submit because she's been such a boss woman. Like here's the thing in this example. She has to accept. First things first, this woman has to accept that she's a boss woman and she has to stop being one. She first has to take accountability that she's a boss woman and she can no longer move in the direction of a boss woman. What she has to do is be more submissive and be more kind and sincere in how she behaves herself around men, because men don't want that mentality that a woman is going to take charge of me. In the long run and the grand scheme of things, men do not want a woman who they see that's going to take charge one day, or who's going to try to run over them, or a woman who isn't going to listen to what they tell them to do. Like, men see that from a mile away. And so whoever this woman is, she first has to take accountability that she's a boss woman. She takes that occupation as being a boss, as a leader, and she has embodied that to be her. So she embodied the position of being a boss and a leader. That's why sometimes it's not meant for every woman to be in those kind of positions in the workforce, because sometimes you end up embodying that. You end up embodying that position at your occupation, right? Sometimes that's why sometimes marriages don't work in the world, because sometimes too many brothers and sisters bring work home. That could be a problem in a marriage if you're bringing work home. Like, some women don't want their husband to be a police officer, but she sees him being a police officer at home too. Like, she's okay with him being a police officer and making money. She's okay with that. But Johnny comes home and still continues to be a police officer instead of a husband and instead of a father. Like, there got to be a balance to everything. Are you kind of tracking, sis? Let me know if I'm losing you. And for any brother or sister out there too, just let me know if I'm losing you. All right. Like, sometimes it's a hard thing to somewhat understand, but that's because some brothers and sisters may not see it. All right. Sometimes we end up embodying the roles that we have in the white man society, and we bring it home. That's why there's an old saying that don't bring work home. You can't bring work home. I believe my grandparents used to tell me something like that. Like, you never bring work home. If you in the military, you a drill sergeant, don't be a drill sergeant here. You could be a drill sergeant all you want in the army, but here you can't be a drill sergeant. Like, for an example, I'll give you a better example. All right. Being an officer, like, you're an officer, like all you brothers out there, right? You're an officer in the Israelite School of Universal Practical Knowledge. All right. You are an officer, but you can't be an officer to your wife because she's not a soldier. All right. You have to be a husband to your wife, not an officer to your wife. Does every brother understand that? Just for future references too, so I can give the brothers an understanding of it too as well. It seems like the sis does understand now. All right. But for you brothers out there, like, if you're an officer, don't be an officer to your wife. You got to be a husband to your wife. Don't bring work home. Does everybody understand? Now, I'm not telling you as a man to not correct your wife. That's being a husband. All right. But don't be throwing out, orders as if this woman is a soldier. She's your wife, Ak. She's not a soldier. All right. The way you talk to the brothers ain't going to be the way you talk to her. The way you give brothers orders ain't going to be the way you give this sister an order. So don't bring work home. All right. Don't bring work home. Don't be an officer to your wife, but you got to be a husband to your wife. I pray that y'all understand. All right. So was I able to answer your question, sis? And does every brother understand out there? Hopefully every brother and sister got an understanding, but allow me to get back to, the Corey Holcomb thing, right? The Lord, all right, put everybody, all right, Most High Christ, like the Lord put everybody in their prospective positions, all right? And, Corey said in the video, once again, as the ISUPK, we don't agree with we don't align ourselves with what Corey is saying, but I do understand where Corey is coming from. Corey is in the world. He's just a comedian. He's just a clown. All right. But the things that he's saying, I understand where he's coming from. Men want control and authority. Understand that the Lord wanted a man to have control and authority over you, sis. I know that seems oppressive because of the women's rights movement and because of, the women's empowerment movement. It seems so oppressive when you hear the word control. That word control is it's traumatizing. It's a trigger. And I understand it could be quite triggering because you're like, you equate control to abuse. which is reasonable. Just understand, sis, that is reasonable because of the trauma that you faced and because of how society has been fashioned from our oppressor for so long now. I understand it's reasonable that when you hear the word control, it's a trigger word and it's traumatizing and you equate it to abuse. It makes perfect sense. But allow me to let you understand that when a man has control over you in here and he's controlling you in a way that the Lord wants him to control you, there's no abuse involved. Do you understand? All right. Let me see. The sis says, Salaki, sir, if I may add, women don't like authority because they rather be independent, but also because they rather tell him what to do. Right? Exactly. And that's exactly what we're kind of going over tonight. Give that sister a hand. That's true. All right. And that's exactly what's happening. All right. That I spoke about that earlier in the class about that independency, right? Like our sisters have a false idea that they're independent, but really they are dependent on white men in the white man society. All right. They're only financially stable because of how our oppressor fashioned society. And and really our oppressor never taught our women to not be depending on a man. Women do understand at face value they depend on a man. Our sisters in particular just been taught that they are not to depend on black men. Black women depend on white men all the time. They just don't realize it, possibly. Some know it, some do. They depend on white men. They depend on white men to give them food stamps. They depend on white men to give them what's those WIC and TANF and Medicaid and all kinds of stuff. Child support. They depend on white men to establish those kind of policies, right? And those type of legislation, right? In order for them to survive, they know that they depend on that. You know what I'm saying? They depend on that, but they don't depend on black men. So let's get that scripture where it says Ephesians 5:22. There's a bedrock scripture where it says, "Wives, submit yourselves unto your." Says, "Wives." Oh, you know what I keep doing? I'm not adding it to the stage. So where it says, "Wives, submit yourselves unto your own husbands as unto the Lord." So, sis, right, for all y'all sisters out there, all right, and this is what Corey is desiring, which most men desire. As a man, we want you to submit yourself as if you would submit yourself to the Lord. Just as much as you as a woman would submit yourself to Christ, as you say, well, you need to have that same spirit in submission towards your husband. All right. Think of your husband being Christ to you. Your husband is your husband. If you're married, sis, he's Christ to you. All right. Sister said, Khan, so that's because they're right. Exactly. They're gold diggers out there. All they want is money. Your husband, all right, is Christ to you, sis. And I want you to understand that for any brother out there. All right. Just understand, break this down to your rib. You know what I'm saying? That she is Christ to you. All right. I mean, you are Christ to her. Salakia. The Lord was about to strike me down with that one sentence. Salakia. All right. You are like Christ to her. That's just what it is. All right. So just keep that in mind. We're going to move on to the next scripture as well. We're going to continue reading. Because Corey talked about, authority and control, right? And that, and we need to understand, all right, us wanting a woman, and let's keep this in mind, us wanting a woman, all right, to be under subjection under us, or us wanting a woman to submit to us, that's not us hating you. That's not what misogyny is. When a man tells you to do something, that's not misogyny, sis. All right. When a man tells you what to wear and what not to wear, that's not misogyny. Like you're supposed to, like, I remember I did a class not too long ago about sex appeal and how one dresses. Like your man understands what men are looking for and what kind of clothes that attract disgusting, terrible men. And so he's telling you to not wear something like this because there are men that behave in a way that is absolutely unseemly. And so he's telling you to dress this way because he loves you. Like this is the kind of love that's enough. The problem is, remember what I said in the beginning of class, as a Christian, you don't have the love that's required. You don't have the love that's enough to protect the ones you love. But when you come into the Israelite School of Universal Practical Knowledge, we will teach you the love that's required, and you will truly have the love that's enough to love, and that's required to love anyone in your circle. And I pray that you understand. The sister said, Khan, sir, as women submissive is obeying, being humble, and exactly. Give that sister a hand too as well. Most High in Christ, dropping something heavy. So now continuing, right? We got to understand this, all right? Let's get the next scripture. So it says, for the husband is the head of the wife. It says, for the husband is the head of the wife. Just understand. Now, what does it mean to be the head of something? Y'all go ahead and put that in the chat for me. What does it mean to be the head of something? Everybody can figure that out. And also let me get the scripture on my end too as well. So when it says Ephesians 5 and verse 23, where it says, for the husband is the head of the wife. Keep in mind, allow me to break it down to you in this way, form, or fashion, right? Think about the body, right? You have the body, all right? And the head, and of course, this is the head. You got the head, all right? This is the head of the body, meaning this is the top. This stands on top of the arms. The head stands on top of the arms, the shoulders, the legs, everything that encompasses a body. The head stands on top of it, right? I don't mean standing on top of it in a demeaning way, all right? And keep in mind, the head is where the brain is located. In the brain, right, is actually more made for control than it is for thinking. I think we were in a car ride, and I was actually explaining this to the brothers. I was also talking to Captain about it too, and I explained to all the brothers in the car. I said, well, listen, the brain is actually made for control than it is for thinking. Like, thinking is really like, I'm just throwing a number out here, more like 5 or 10% of the brain itself. You know what I'm saying? The majority of the brain is actually to control all the other organs in your body. The brain controls a lot more than you think it is. It's really made for control than it is for thinking. And so if you have that, if you are aware of that, all right, understand that the head is made, the head is for control. All right, the head is made for control. And the Lord said in the scripture, let me put it back on the screen, where it says, for the husband is the head of the wife. All right, meaning he's the control of the wife. You know what I'm saying? Right. And gives us a hand. Right. Say to be right. So like it's right. The head is to be an authority. Exactly. To be the head is like authority. Exactly. And so when it says, for the husband is the head of the wife, he's control. He's the control of the wife. He is to be in control of the wife. That's how the Lord has always set it up. Now, this is in the New Testament, right? This is just a form of it in the New Testament. Can anybody tell me where else I can find something like this? Is anybody aware where I can find this in the Old Testament? Some of y'all are biblical scholars out there. You know, Yerash Maf is not a biblical scholar. So I need y'all to tell me where in the Old Testament I can find something like this similar. Because this has been said since the beginning. I think I gave y'all a hint, low key. This has been said in the beginning. You know what I'm saying? For the husband is the head of the wife. You understand? And give the sister hand. She said like authority. All right. To be the head is to be in charge, to be an authority, to actually have control. You understand? That's why the title of the class is Control and Authority, because control and authority are synonymous with each other. Don't allow the word control trigger you. Don't allow the word control equate to abuse, because control is not synonymous with abuse. We have to run away from that. You understand? Now, I'm not saying there aren't terrible men out there, because in the world there are terrible men, and you should stay very far away from them. All right. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, let's keep that in mind. All right. Can anybody? So, you know, I know we're coming close to the class time. So, you know, Can anybody tell me? Actually, we got like 9 minutes. I started a little late, so we're not coming that close. We got some time. Do y'all know where it's at? I'll go ahead and get it for y'all for time's sake. I'm gonna come back to it. We're gonna get Genesis chapter 3. And we're going to get verse 16. All right, hopefully everybody can see it on the screen. So where it says right here, now this is the Lord talking to Eve, right? Of course, right? And the Lord is saying right here, it said Genesis chapter 3, verse 16, unto the woman, he said, I will greatly multiply thy sorrow and thy conception, and sorrow thou shalt bring forth children. You understand? So I will greatly multiply thy sorrow and thy conception. All right. So when it says I will greatly multiply thy sorrow and thy conception, and he goes on to explain it, in sorrow thou shalt bring forth children. Like this sadness is, and all of this sorrow and all of this pain is in relation to childbirth. Now here we are. Now here's the golden question. How does one become pregnant? Now y'all have to answer this. I know that I see the chat a little silent right now, but y'all gonna have to answer this one before the class ends. How does one become pregnant? How does one get a baby inside of them? How does one bring forth children? What's the process? Give Sister Ra'aya a hand. Give Sister Ra'aya a hand. Most High in Christ. Sex, intercourse. You understand? In order for you to bring forth a child as a, you know what I'm saying, right? Give Sister Imadah a hand. Sexual intercourse, right? Give Sister Nakat a hand. All right, through sex, right? And sex is marriage, right? This right here, sex. Give all your listen, y'all sisters. Listen, God damn it, y'all sisters are intelligent. You guys are extremely smart. What was it? What DJ Khaled said? DJ Khaled or DJ Khaled said, "You smart." You know what I'm saying? To give y'all sisters give yourselves a hand for real. All right. It says, unto the woman, he said, I will greatly multiply thy sorrow and thy conception. In sorrow thou shalt bring forth children. Listen, right here. This right here is explaining to you right here how important sex is. This right here in Genesis 3 and 16, before we remember in the beginning of class, I pulled Exodus, all right, chapter 22, verse 16. But this is where it comes from right here in the beginning of time, right here in the beginning, Genesis, bara ashath in the Hebrew. All right. Remember in Genesis chapter 1 in the Hebrew, bara ashath bara alahayim wa atha harataza. Remember that in the Hebrew? That's Genesis chapter 1 and 1 right there in the Hebrew. A little bit. I think I'm missing Hashemayim wa harataza. I think I missed the word there. Salakia. But that's Genesis 1 and 1. We're talking about the beginning. It says, unto the woman, he said, I will greatly multiply thy sorrow in thy conception, and sorrow thou shalt bring forth children. And it says, and thy desire shall be to thy husband. You know what I'm saying? And give Sister Right said, and sorrow, is that speaking to the pain of giving birth? Exactly. So that sorrow, multiplying thy sorrow is in relation to childbirth. Absolutely. And so now when it says, and thy desire shall be to thy husband, this is where Ephesians 5 and 22 is getting it from. Right here, that sex that brings forth children, this is supposed to remind you that pain and that suffering on that table when you're giving birth to that sweet, beautiful, healthy baby girl or baby boy. You understand? This is supposed to remind you that you are supposed to have a desire towards your husband. It says, and thy desire shall be to thy husband. That's what it's supposed to remind you of right there. So when the Lord says he's the head of you, this is what he's talking about. You understand? And it says, and here we go. Here's the precept. And he shall rule. Let me put it back on the screen so y'all can see it. So y'all know Officer Yerushalayim ain't lying to y'all, right? And it says, and he shall rule over thee. And it says, he shall rule over thee. So we know sex brings forth children. Majority of the time, right? Sometimes it can be a hit or miss. All right. But for the most part, sex brings forth children. If the Lord allows it, right? And so when you have this child, and when you go through this entire process, it's supposed to remind you that he shall rule over thee. All right. It says, and sister said, can we define rule? Sure. We can define rule. Can any sister out there, what does it mean to rule? Right? What does it mean to rule? If we can define it real quick for any brother or sister. But I want to hear from a sister, if it's possible. Says Salaki, if I may ask her, as a woman, you are a reflection of him as well, because it's one body. Exactly. Because you become one flesh. That's why when the Lord says, when a man and a woman comes together and becomes one flesh, you become one family. Give that sister a hand. Absolutely. That woman is a reflection of you. All right. If you understand. So of course, sis, if you are a wife, just understand you are a reflection of your husband. So you got to move right. You can't be moving, nefarious and collisionist. You can't be moving like that. I told you, Officer Mataz, I know that word collisionist. You know what I'm saying? All right, I studied that word. I'm gonna use it when I can. I'm gonna start using it in conversations that don't even need it. I'm just gonna randomly say collisionist. All right. What did y'all call to have absolute authority? That's a good way to say rule, right? To rule over. Okay. So what does it mean to rule? Anybody else want to give it a shot? You guys are correct. I just want to, I want y'all to answer before I answer. That's all. To see if everybody, everybody should have the same definition. All right. Control or dominion over an area of people. Right. Select sure to rule. Right. When it comes to leadership. Okay. Anybody else? But you guys are those are good answers, by the way, too. Those are very, very good. Right, to control, right, to oversee. All right, those are very good answers. All right, I'm gonna give it to y'all for time's sake. All right, because now we really are coming up on time. The word rule, because the sister Aya asked a very beautiful question. Right, can we define the word rule? The word rule comes from the Hebrew word mashal, meaning to have dominion over. All right, it's to have dominion over. So rule meaning to have dominion. You guys were all correct. All right. You guys were all correct, but I want to use the word dominion. All right. And to have dominion, meaning you have absolute ownership. You have supreme authority. Does everybody understand? Like that woman is your domain. You have supreme authority over her. The Lord said you have absolute ownership and supreme authority over her. That's the definition of domain. Y'all look it up on your own time in Merriam-Webster's dictionary. But for time's sake, to have dominion over someone, all right, is to have supreme authority, to have absolute ownership, right? Dominion. Give Sister Rahaya a hand. Dominion. Mashal, the Hebrew word for rule over is mashal, meaning to have dominion over. So to have rulership over. So when the Lord says, and he shall rule over thee, meaning he has dominion over you. He has absolute ownership over you. He has supreme authority over you. That's what the Lord said. So when the next time you laying down with a brother, you understand? Just understand that he is your supreme authority and he has absolute ownership of you. You understand? Keep that in mind when you open your legs up to a brother, for whatever the case may be. Just understand that man that's cracking your back, he is your supreme authority. He absolutely owns you. You understand? He has absolute ownership of you, and embrace it, because it's the most beautiful thing you can ever have. Is a man who loves you so much, that he's going to lead you. And it's such a beautiful thing to have a man who walks in the way of Christ, all right, and who is willing to give up his life for you, just as much as Christ loves the church. I'm running up on time, but that's Ephesians 5 and 24 and 5 all the way. So Ephesians chapter 5 verse 22 all the way, I believe, to verse 28. So if you read Ephesians chapter 5 verse 22 all the way to verse 28, maybe even 32 and 34, just read Ephesians 5 and 22 all the way down. All right, just to be safe than sorry, so I'm not leading y'all in the wrong direction, but it's definitely Ephesians 5 and 22 and down. All right. The Lord required us to love our wives, all right, the way Christ loved the church. And the Lord gave up his life for the church. All right. And that church is referring to the school. It's referring to the people who are in the school, all right, which are Israelites, which are so-called Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans. That's how, there's no greater love than that. Get you a man who walks like Christ. Get a man who walks in the path of the Lord. Walk a man who understands that the eyes of the Lord is 10 times brighter than the sun and sees everything. As a sister, get a man like that. Don't get a man like Corey. Don't be the woman who Corey gets the opportunity. Don't get a man like Corey who's going to take the opportunity to take advantage of you because you're poor. He learned that kind of behavior from our oppressor. He takes advantage of women who are in poverty because that's what our oppressor has done to Black women forever. And I want y'all to understand that before I leave class tonight. All right. Corey Holcomb does to Black women is no different than what rich white men do to rich Black women too. You understand? He takes advantage of the poor. Rich white men who want to have sex with rich Black women like Serena Williams, they take advantage of our women. They take advantage of them. You understand? They don't love them. They lust over them, and all they want to do is have sex with them, and that's it. That's it. There's no love. There's no real love there, because that's not what love actually looks like. Because we all know what love looks like back here, right? Of course y'all do. I'm not going to keep y'all for too long. Sister Ice at the water. Sometimes the words mean so much. I wanted to get that definition. Oh yeah, no sweat. Those words are very heavy, sis. A yonder bar. That's no sweat, sis. And words are everything. You know what I'm saying? Like, words have power behind them when they're said. So also keep that in mind. All right. The Bible also talks about the same things uttered in a different language does not have the same force in them. That's why I wanted to give you the Hebrew meaning of the word rule over, meaning dominion, which is mashal in the Hebrew. Mashal in the Hebrew. All right. All right. So with that, of course, I'm gonna go ahead and get the security announcements. So y'all bear with me. All right, we are the Israelite School, or we are the ISUPK, started at 1 West 125th Street, Harlem, New York. All right. Let me see. Oh, Salakia, sir, may I have the spelling in Hebrew for dominion? Absolutely. Mashal. So MASHAL. So MASHAL. And I'll say that one more time. MASHAL. Mashal. We are the ISUPK, started at 1 West 125th Street, Harlem, New York. Rule for new brothers and sisters. When a new brother or sister comes into the school, they are off limits for 6 months. They are to be saluted only. They are here to shed themselves to the world. If they need transportation, the teacher will arrange it. After 6 months, if a brother or sister has an interest in a particular person, he or she must get permission from the head to speak to a brother or sister. There is another 6 months in which the brother and sister will court each other. After this 6-month period, the brother and sister will get permission from the head to marry. Tithes, which is a commandment. All right. Numbers 18:21, Malachi 3:8-10. My Aishra means 10th in the Hebrew, 10% of every penny of any increase the Lord gives you. Give the Treasury Department or teacher, priest fund, free will offering, non-mandatory, whatsoever amount you would like. All right. Upcoming Holy Convocation. The closing of the Feast of Tabernacles is this Thursday. All right. This Thursday on the 24th of October. All right. Of course, I got in contact with some brothers and sisters already. I'll be calling more brothers and sisters. So I'm saying it right now for all the brothers and sisters in school, in the class right now, especially in the state of Virginia, because of course I need y'all to come to the school. All right. Be prepared to know what you're going to make. All right. Be prepared to know what you're going to make and bring to the feast day. All right. And we're going to close the feast together. All right. We're going to do the Sabbath service, and we're going to spend time like a family and have a good old time. I'm gonna do my best to have this speaker charged up. I got a new speaker for the school, so we can actually have some music going possibly. Okay, during the after the Sabbath service, all that good stuff. So I'm gonna go ahead and get that taken care of. So we're not just, we never really sit in silence. We're always talking, but y'all get my point. So just be prepared for the call, either tonight or tomorrow afternoon. So make sure y'all are ready. All right. So when I call, what I'm trying to say is when I call y'all, be ready to answer my questions of what y'all going to cook. All right. Be ready. So I know what y'all going to cook. All right. That's all I'm trying to say. All right. And then I'll take care of the rest from there. All right. So with that, Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushua Brakathum to the brothers. All right. And Shalom, Yahweh Shamar Alathan Ba'ashem Yahushua to the sisters. With that, Shalom.
You know when they come around, if they wanna clown, then we going down. I'm war ready, was born ready, I'm more ready. I'm saying this now, making sure that the morgue ready. Yeah. We got some drop-offs, battle formation, I'm waiting for you to pop off. Right after you make your first move, get your rocks off. Next thing you'll head to the dirt. We are not soft. I took a loss, but nah, I ain't panicking. I be making moves, you staying still like a mannequin. Think you got the force, but shit, I'm feeling like Anakin. Hit the chick with the lightsaber, might save her. Doing moves tight major with light paper. And H-Town on them blades like an ice skater. Yeah, at that one West Passover. Sit down, take a seat till the class over. Far from sober, but I ain't puffing on Doja. Bartender, bring me tequila. Hold the soda, shit. Hold the ice too. Flood it like a typhoon. We can get 6 shooters, 10 paces high noon. We have Player Street, all-star studded like it's all.
Because that's what it means. That's what it means to serve the Lord. That's His will. The Lord's will is about provision. The Lord's will is about separation. The Lord's will is about not gratifying yourself. The Lord's will is about not satisfying yourself. That's what the Lord's will is about.
You know who I go to ground with, my niggas. You know when
I know that might be a foreign concept. No thanks to Christianity. We no longer have fathers like we're supposed to in the black home. We don't have fathers, you understand, in the black Hispanic and Native American homes like we were supposed to. No thanks to Christianity and no thanks to America.
You can't feel me. Unless you sip 100 proof. I got 100 soldiers with me, that's 200 boots. We get to stomping like a Kappa or a Q. But don't mistake me for no rapper, I'm the Jew. The streets cold, so I throw on the cover. You a bitch, don't get mad at me, get mad at your mother. Put my life on the line like I got me another. Yeah, shit, it's like I'm on another level here. You second tier, I'm pulling guns, that's on Metal Gear. It's hell out here, but shit, I die heavenly. AK equipped with the drum, it holds 70. Twin revolvers, bucket you ducks like Yosemite. Yeah, I hear a lot of rappers puffing on their enemies. I don't smoke, but I drink their tears like it's
Hallowed is a word that means holy, meaning the Lord's name is separate. The Lord's name is about division. The Lord's name is about separation. Throughout the Bible, it talks about separation and division.
Even wanna hear about rappers. Heavy gut punch, knock the air out rappers. Ain't nobody fucking around with my niggas. You know who I go to ground with, my niggas. You know when they come around, if they wanna clown, then we gun them down for my niggas. Ain't nobody fucking around with my niggas. You know who I go to ground with, my niggas. You know when they come around, if they wanna clown, then we gun them down for my niggas.
It's supposed to be thy will be done. The Lord's will is supposed to be done. Not your will, not grandma's will, not mommy's will, not Uncle Bobby's will, not the Democratic Party's will, not the Republican Party's will, not the Independent Party's will. It said what? Thy will be done. Thy will be done. The Lord's will is supposed to be done.